Are my judges ready? Yes. By 2030, if current deforestation practices continue, over 60% of the Amazon rainforest could be destroyed. Good evening, I'm Devin Osborn, and clear cutting the rainforest should not be acceptable because trees help the environment, trees are animals' homes, and they create tons of oxygen. Trees have a huge role in everyone's lives by giving everyone oxygen, and that is one of the many reasons why trees fascinate me. Okay, so reasons for choosing my topic is I've always been fascinated with trees since my junior year. And this was around the springtime of my junior year. I did the FFA forestry contest, and this is whenever my interest in trees sparked. Now, at first I didn't know if I was going to like the forestry contest because it interfered with my golf schedule and it caused me to have to learn new stuff for the contest. So later on, as we kept going to contests, and I eventually started to get into it, and I kept practicing and learning my trees. And towards the end of the contest, I actually decided that I liked the contest, so I just kept doing it, and I eventually was pretty good at it. And also, my job shadow. My junior year as well, Mr. Kohlmeyer had all the juniors do a job shadow. And for my job shadow, I job shadowed the man on the left, Michael Hollinger. He is a worker at the Missouri Department of Conservation, and he is a forester himself. I decided to job shadow him because this was the time around my FFA forestry contest, and I thought I could get some more input for my contest. This was a very fun job shadow, and in this picture right here, we were surveying a man's land in Mountain View, and we were using an increment board to test the age of that tree. Now, the increment board, it's just to test the age. You screw it into the tree, and then you pull it out, and it pulls out a cylinder of wood, and you count the rings, and you determine how old it is. And this tree specifically was 130 years old. My whole paper was about deforestation, and that's basically my whole topic as well. Now, my rebuttal was the benefits of deforestation. The benefits could be it creates jobs, it boosts the economy for places that are cutting it down, and also it creates more land for farming and grazing cattle on. Throughout human history, it was seen as civilizing to clear the rainforest. Many people didn't know what was in the rainforest and they didn't know what could come out of it. So clearing it was civilizing to them because they didn't know what was in it. And also, whenever they cleared it, it created more space for farming. Now, back then, farming was very important because that's how they got their main source of food. And also, the locations in the rainforest, just about everywhere. They're in just about every country. Now, the effects of clearing rainforest can be detrimental, and in the future, if it continues, it could actually make all of us perish. Now, why is it allowed? It's allowed to boost the economy. It creates jobs and also offers many land for people. The benefits of the rainforest is it creates oxygen. Over 60% of the world's oxygen comes from world's rainforests across the whole entire world. It is also home to many animals. Now, whenever people go in and clear the forest, it pushes the animals into unhabitable locations, and it could also lead to extinction. And also, many medicines come out of the rainforest. One out of every four plants in the rainforest are used for medicines throughout the country and the United States. And many food comes out of the rainforest as well. The food benefits the tribes and the country or across the world. My whole plan was just trying to help by replenishing what has been destroyed. What I did wasn't a ton, but it will still help in the future. In these three pictures, this shows me planting trees at our local golf course. I planted 17 here, and 12 of them lined the driveway, and they were all pine trees. And I also planted dogwoods and spice bushes as well at the golf course. And also, I planted 6 at my house, and I planted dogwoods and yellow poplars. Now, for my teaching product, I taught the FFA forestry contest, and that is the contest I did my junior year. My whole project in total was I planted 23 trees. I proposed I was going to plant 15, but I thought I could plant more, so I decided to plant 23. I planted Pine trees, dogwoods, yellow poplars, spice bushes, and that was just about all. What it started off was on March 4th, me and my mentor, Trish Bryan, we hooked up and we went to, well, before that we ordered trees. And this helped me out greatly. Was she worked at the Missouri Department of Conservation, so she had connections to get me trees for free, and that helped me out amazingly. Now, on March 4th, we went to Licking to pick up our trees, and on that same day, we came back to Willow and planted 17 at the golf course and 6 at my own house. And for my teaching part, I taught the forestry contest for FFA. We went over cruising, which is where you go into the forest, you look at trees, you get the diameter of them, you get how many logs you can get out of them, and see if they're suitable to cut down. And this is for loggers to come in and clear the forest. Also, we went over maps, which is where we look over maps and determine where, it's for the contest, so we determine whether it's a forested area or which way streams are going. It's pretty complex. And also tree identification. For the contest, there are 50 trees in total, but for each contest, there's only 20 that you have to know. But we went over all 50. We traveled to Noblet Lake, also around the Ag Building, and we looked at trees, and I helped them determine what tree they were just by looking at the bark, dead leaves, or even the buds. And also TSI, which is Timber Stand Improvement. This is where they go in a selected forest area and determine what trees to cut down. If they determine it by the top of the trees, if they have a good crown, and that's how they determine if they cut it down. And also test. We went over test, and test is one of the harder parts on the contest, just because you have to memorize stuff, and there's 50 questions on it as well. And this is what I did for my whole project. The challenges I faced was scheduling when to plant trees. I've never planted a tree before. I had I didn't know what to do, so I talked to my mentor, Trish Bryan, and she helped me out. She planted trees herself a few years ago, and she told me when the best time to plant them was, and that is late spring. Now it's kind of scary because our deadline was March 7th, but the day I chose to plant them was March 4th, and it worked out perfectly. The ground was wet because it rained so much previously, and the ground was easy to work with, and it was easy to plant the tree in the ground. And also, I've never taught anything before, so teaching something was hard. The students, it took a while to get with them and kind of learn them. So those were my challenges. Us as humans can change the outcome of our future by replenishing what has been destroyed. Even planting one tree can help in the long run. There's a major history of clear-cutting the rainforest, and deforestation will change the future of it. There are benefits for clearing the rainforest and keeping the rainforest, but saving the rainforest will be very beneficial in years to come. Clearing the forest can drastically change the environment in the future. They are home to animals, trees help the environment, and they produce so much oxygen. Therefore, they shouldn't cut them down. Planting trees can help the world in huge ways, and all of you can spice up your own house by planting a tree. Thank you. Do my judges have any questions?
What would you do differently if you were doing this again?
What I would do differently is I would plant more trees. I feel like I could have easily planted more, and I just didn't know exactly when I could, because like I said, it's towards the end of the deadline, and I didn't know if I could get more trees in or not. But I planted more than what I said, and I felt pretty accomplished with that.
Have you do you live on a farm?
I don't live on a farm, no.
Do you have any neighbors that you've gone to? Have they asked you for your advice as far as how many logs they can get out of a tree?
No, I haven't talked to anybody about it, but I just helped the forestry contest, and yeah.
Devin, how did you decide what trees to plant, what species of trees?
I talked to the golf course superintendent, and this is where I planted most of my trees. And I asked him what he would like, and he said he wanted some pine. There's also a spice bush, and he wanted a few of those. And he said he wanted a few dogwoods as well. So I talked with him, and also I talked with my parents and I kind of asked them what they kind of wanted. And we decided on poplars and dogwoods at our house.
What kind of pine trees?
Shortleaf pine.
Is this something you're gonna do in the future, or is it?
I thought about becoming a forester at the Missouri Department of Conservation. After my job shadow, I got very intrigued with it, so possibly. Any more questions? Thank you.